I'm Phil Bolton with the Global Atlanta News Service, and I'm here today with Dr. Panos Livadas, who has come from Greece. Dr. Livadas is the Secretary General of Information for Greece. Welcome to Atlanta.
Thank you very much for having me.
Atlanta, as you know, is a former Olympic city, as is Athens. What has been the Olympic legacy of Athens?
First of all, I should add that you're also sister city with the city of Olympia, and that's where it all started. Thank you so much for the question. There are two kinds of legacies, if I could use that word, after the Olympics. One is the tangible legacy, and the other one is the intangible legacy. As far as the tangible legacy, it's all the infrastructure that took place in order to host the Olympic Games. Some people thought that we spent a lot of money for this infrastructure, but the reality of the matter is that this infrastructure that was built, it was built to stay. It was built to serve the people of Athens, to serve the tourists of Athens, to serve the businesses of Athens. High-tech highways, beltways, the new metro, and brand new airport, and the list goes on and on. Extreme progress in telecommunications. Now, of course, these were done with the opportunity of the Olympic Games, but this is all betterments and improvements that they're here to stay. So it was a long-term investment that is paying out, and it should really not be judged by the amount of money that Greece spent during that particular period of time.
Was the new subway system the bedrock for your
I would
innovations?
say not only the metro system was a fantastic development for Athens and the people who live or work there, but also, as I said, it was a whole web of betterments or brand new things that you know, they were always in planning to be done, but there you had a target, you had a deadline, you need to catch the deadline for a very good purpose, so it was great motivation. And I include to that the airport, or I include high-tech bridges or beltways and highways. And perhaps during the conversation we'll have a chance to talk a little bit more about these things. But let me talk to you a little bit more about the intangible legacy of the Olympic Games. And I think that's the most important one. Actually, we made a research in many countries, tens of thousands of people as a sample, and we asked them questions before the Olympics and the same questions after the Olympics. So one could see that the perceptions about Greece was redetermined. We were repositioned, let's say, in the global map of perceptions. Before the Olympics, the stereotype about Greece had to do with attributes that had to do with human emotions. The sun and the sea and hospitality and fun and emotions and things like that. Very important attributes, a very important, let's say, original stereotype, because of course among other things it offered the best for, let's say, the tourist industry. People love Greece all over the world, or respect Greece from all over the world because of its history and its culture. You saw, though, that after the Olympics, this stereotype was enriched with attributes that had to do with human reason. They started considering Greece as a country that could deliver in challenges of great caliber, or rationality came up a lot, or high quality of services, or teamwork. In other words, if we put those findings a little bit differently, the global perception for Greece is that Greece is reliable and its people are credible.
The new Acropolis Museum is soon to open. Tell us about the excitement in Athens about that facility.
I don't think words can describe it. It's huge news for Greece. It's us as a governmental organization, the Secretariat of Information, we write down and observe the questions we get from the global media. So let me use that kind of example to tell you that along with the economy, the new museum of the Acropolis are the two major questions from across the globe, from Beijing to Washington, from Cairo, Egypt to the Scandinavia. We're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of questions per year about what's going to happen with a new Acropolis Museum. So the new Acropolis Museum will be a reality within 2009. I think it's going to open within the first months in the spring of 2009. It's located in a unique place right next to the Parthenon and the Acropolis, which after all it serves. It is built in the principle of following the principles of the Acropolis temple, of the Parthenon temple, in regard with the light, in regard with the symbolism, with the symbolisms, and of course it is the result of many years of work by global experts, most importantly though from Greek experts and archaeologists, and some of them top of the list, Professor Padermalis has been leading this work, and this has been, a great privilege for the new museum.
How much of a magnet do you think it will be for additional tourism?
I cannot quantify it, but I believe it's going to be a huge development, because, the global media, sometimes they say that if it's not bad news, it's no news. Good news or no news. So in that environment, if I of course make a joke about it, a little humor about it, in this environment, stories that have to do with friction and conflict and war are dominant stories. But behind that, if you take a look at the perceptions and the demands and the interest you see in the societies themselves, you realize that the bigger parts of the societies are interested in these cultural developments. You see that they ask questions, you see that they visit, or in research they answer that what they would like to do is visit, let's say, Greece, because they want to see Acropolis and the Parthenon. So it's not things that you may find on headline news a lot, but within the societies the interest is enormous.
For young generations, do you think it will provide a framework for them to better understand the Greek ideals and principles, for instance, of democracy?
I have to explain, first of all, that it's a great priority of the Greek educational system to introduce to our young people the history and the symbolisms and the ideas, and how these ideas evolved into global ideas and principles that we all today live by. And it's also very encouraging and very honoring for Greece that I myself, traveling to a lot of countries in the world, you see how many educational systems across the globe introduce the ancient Greek philosophy or the Greek ideas, and exactly the connection of those thoughts of 2,000 years ago, how they have influenced the way they live their lives today. I see schools in Croatia that have been working for 400 years now and offer education to more than 300 or 400 or 500 children per year, and they only teach Greek. Just to give you an example, official schools of the education system of that country. You see that in China, Greek language, ancient and modern Greek language, is part of their official educational system. So when you have a landmark like that, the new Museum of the Acropolis, I believe it's going to boost this existing momentum. It's going to give one more excuse, and very attractive excuse, and I think it's going to definingly boost the interest for these ideas.